All right, guys, good morning. Luis Morales here, health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk, and this is the final morning stretch break of 2020. It's crazy how it is kind of coming to a close here. What we're going to do is start out with some spine stuff, but before we get started, if you have anything specific that you guys would like shown a little extra love or attention to by way of movement or stretching, go ahead and drop that in the chat. We can definitely work it into the routine I have planned out for today. We're going to start with some necks, do some spine stuff, stretch out the posterior chain, then do a little shoulder stuff to finish up. So if that's not what you guys are into, go ahead and drop something in the chat. We can definitely work it in. So I'll give you guys a second for that. All we're going to need here is just a little bit of space. We're going to be standing and on the ground a little bit as well today. All right, so if no one has any other requests or suggestions, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start in a nice standing position, feet planted about shoulder width apart, arms relaxed down by our sides. Let's turn those tummy muscles on. And what we're going to do is just a couple neck circles in each direction here. So starting with the chin down on the chest, we're going to try and take our head and neck in the largest circle that we possibly can. Starting with one direction, we'll do 3 reps in one direction and then change it over. Make sure you're still breathing. So here, it's okay to hear some pops and some cracks through the neck from time to time usually. As long as they're not associated with immediate pain, you should be pretty okay as we hear those pops and cracks throughout our joints in the body. All right, guys, as we're coming to the 3rd rep here, go ahead and change directions when you are ready to do so. Keep breathing. Last circle here. Nicely done. End with that chin on the chest and then bring that head up. Nicely done, guys. All right, next up, we're going to be down on the ground. So we're going to need a little bit of space here. I'm going to angle my camera down so you guys can see what I'm doing. So for this next one, we're going to be getting some nice rotation through the spine. Really great to do this one in the morning, especially after we're kind of static in our sleeping positions, whatever that may be, on our backs, on our sides. Let's go ahead and find a nice position here on our sides. We want the knees stacked up on top of each other, up around hip level. Arms are going to be outreached in front of us, stacked out on top of each other. And you can either kind of keep your head up, or you can rest your head on the ground, or a pillow, or a yoga block, whatever suits you. And what we're going to do is open up our bodies like a big book here. So that top arm that we have laying on our other one, that's going to start to open up, and we're going to follow that hand with our head, opening our whole body up, keeping the knees, hips, and the other arm on the ground, opening up as far as we comfortably can, taking a deep breath. And on the exhale, starting to close that book. So bringing that arm around, twisting our heads to continue to watch that hand. We're going to do a couple more of these and then switch sides here. You might notice the first couple reps might feel a little tight, and that's all right. The more we do with this one, the looser we'll get. And the more we continue to breathe, that will also help to kind of loosen our spine up a little bit, loosen up those muscles around our rib cage and throughout the torso. All right, I got 2 down here. We'll do 2 more. Don't forget that breathing. Make sure those hips and knees are staying locked. We want to make sure we're doing that so the lower part of our spine doesn't get any of this twisting. We only kind of want the upper and middle parts. All right, last step here on this side, guys. Nice deep breath when we're outstretched. And on the exhale, we'll close that book. All right, you guys can flip on over to your other sides. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over just so you can continue to see my front side. We're going to replicate same thing here on the other side. So knees, hips stacked up on top of each other, knees up at hip level, arms stacked. And then once you're in that ready position, we'll go ahead and get started opening up that book. Good job in breathing here, guys. Might notice one side's a little tighter than the other as well. That's totally okay. Pretty typical as we tend to have dominant sides. And human body, typically pretty asymmetrical. All right, 2 down, 2 to go here. Good work, you guys. Keep turning that head to follow the hand. Don't get lazy with the head. Wherever you're at, we'll make this the last one. Big inhale and exhale when we're outstretched. Nice work, you guys. Nice work. Closing that book for the last time here. Nicely done. All right, from here, we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. So take your time in getting into that position. Here, we're also going to do a little bit of a spine opener since we're in the morning here. So with those hands stacked, or with those hands planted, I should say, right under the shoulders and the knees right under the hips, what we're going to do is now some cat camel. And if you're familiar with yoga, you might know this one. What we're going to do is round our backs up, try and reach our mid backs up to the ceiling, let that head drop, and point our tailbones down to the ground. And then let's switch that position. So pointing the tailbone up, trying to look up and bringing our stomachs nice and close to the ground. All we're trying to do is extend and flex the spine as much as we can. We're now going to just start to move slowly in between these two positions. You can move at your own pace here. We're just trying to take it as far as we comfortably can in each direction. Just exploring the range of motion of our spines here. And don't forget to breathe here. I know it can be kind of interesting as we contort ourselves each way. Continuing to breathe will help our stretch. All right, guys, one more each way. So wherever you're at, we've got one more flex, one more extend. Nicely done, you guys. Let's come back to the middle. Sweet. Okay. Next up, we're going to come up on to our feet once again. And for this next one, we're going to be stretching out muscles of the low back, hamstrings. Let's go ahead and develop a nice wide stance here on the ground with the toes pointed forward. It doesn't have to be super, super wide so that you're feeling a stretch on the inside of the thighs there, but it wants to be wider than shoulder width for sure. And what we're going to start with is pushing those hips back and going into what we like to call a forward fold. So just reaching for the ground, trying to make contact with the hands in the middle of the feet here. And whatever you can do, even if your hands are not touching the ground, let's just hang out here for a sec. Breathe into the stomach, should feel the low back start to relax a little bit. Find a position that's semi-comfortable for you. Continue to breathe. Good. All right. So now let's turn our attention to the left foot. Let's try and walk those hands over towards the left foot, reaching for the shin, the ankle, the toes, whatever we can. Continuing to breathe into our bellies, really feeling that hamstring stretch. And maybe that low back stretch, primarily on the left side now. Breathe into that stretch. We want it to be kind of a medium stretch, nothing too intense. If it feels like one of your muscles is about to snap, go ahead and ease up on the intensity there. You want to be able to calmly breathe into this. Nicely done, guys. All right, on your next exhale, let's move the hands back into the middle for a brief moment. And now let's turn our attention to that right foot. So coming over to the right foot with our hands as close as we can, reaching for the toes, the ankle, the shin, whatever we can. And breathing into the stretch. Good work, you guys. Good work. Let the head hang. I just noticed my head was not completely relaxed. Relax that head and breathe. Nicely done, you guys. All right, let's move those hands back into the middle. And let's go ahead and slowly, while we're bent over here, heel toe, our feet a little bit closer together here. They don't have to come together all the way, but a little wider than shoulder width apart still. And now let's slowly roll ourselves up, taking it one vertebra at a time. Breathing all the way and letting the head and neck be the last thing that kind of comes up. And if you want to finish that off with a nice shoulder roll, pull those shoulder blades back. That usually feels pretty good at the top there. All right, you guys, time for one more thing. Let's go ahead and get into it really quick. We're going to do about 10 reps, and that is just a shoulder blade retraction. So what we're going to do is just stand here, arms relaxed, pull those shoulder blades back like we're going to crack an egg in between our shoulder blades, and then relax them. So no shrugging here. We're just pulling the shoulder blades, excuse me, as far back as we can comfortably, while also not arching our back excessively. So if you need to turn those tummy muscles on again, go ahead and do so, just to kind of find that right place to know the spine is not extending excessively. And just pinching our shoulder blades a little bit and then relaxing them. All right, a couple more pinches here, guys. Last two. All right, good job, you guys. Shake those arms out. That's all the time I have left for this stretch break. I hope you guys will join me again at 2:30 p.m. for another stretch break. That is the actual final live stretch break of 2020. And then we also have Exercise with Exos, exercising with the whole team, quick 30-minute boot camp style class that's coming up at noon Pacific. So I hope you guys will join us for them. We're also going to be nice and spirited today in that class. And if you guys have any other questions or want to know when our other classes are and stuff like that, I definitely recommend checking out our SharePoint site, Exos at Autodesk, our Slack channel, and also our YouTube channel. We have all these stretch breaks, all our classes archived, recorded, so you guys can check them out later during the weeks of rest. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Take care. See you guys next time. And happy holidays from the Exos team.
You too, Lewis. Thank you.
Thanks, Luis.
See ya. Take care, guys.